are Confessional Magazine, and this is More to the Story, brought to you today by Iris and Bo, whose toner helps keep my laugh lines in check, because you never know what our guests are going to say. Visit irisandbo.com today and use code CONFESSIONAL for 20% off.
So much love in this heart of mine.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Confessional Magazine. I'm Taylor. This is More to the Story, and today we are here with the wonderful Nicholas J. Wedlow, and he is an author with an amazing story, and he's a father that everybody, and a parent that everybody should just look to, maybe in times of struggle, and also just not times of struggle, but just getting and always being there for your children and putting that first. So thank you so much for being here today, Nick.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's crazy how we connected, but that's the type of stuff that I envisioned when I was actually writing my book, meeting people like you who actually, value what I'm bringing to the table and can actually hold a conversation about it. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into this. So your book is Overnight Father. And when did you first start writing this book? Because it's a journey and it's his true story with actual documents, like court documents and everything that goes along with this custody battle that just seemed like it was just not ever going to go in his favor.
Yeah.
So
Well,
when did you first?
Honestly, I started writing the book about a year ago. So it was like last May. I was like, hey, you know what? I need to share this information with people because when I was going through my custody battle, I didn't know the resources that were available to me. And I think this could be a good starting point for other fathers who may be in a similar circumstance. So I decided to start writing this book. It was like last May time frame, I believe. And I got it knocked out in roughly like 3 or 4 months, to be honest.
That's incredible because it really does. It is such a resource. So not only is it telling your amazing story, but it also, you do go and you put in like, hey, here are some tips, here are some pointers, here are actual things that you can look to, actual agencies and people that are there to advocate for people that are just like yourself and others looking for change in the system that's so broken.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, what I envisioned. I wanted it to not only be a book, but essentially like a blueprint for how to align yourself to be successful in a custody battle, especially when you're being denied, visitation and custody and stuff like that. I wanted to share the different hurdles I was able to overcome in hopes that maybe it can help somebody one day. That's the whole goal behind the book, just helping somebody else.
Yeah. And so when you were first going through this, I mean, in the very beginning, because I don't want to give too much away, because I think everybody, regardless of if you have, I don't have any kids, and it was still very powerful to me. I think everybody should read this. So I don't want to give too much of your journey away, but that being said, even within the first like few chapters, you're hearing of, not only are you a teen dealing, or you were a teen dealing with this pregnancy that you didn't really know anything about, but then you're also faced with what is still going on, which is this heavy, unfortunate truth of racism in America. And you're dealing with that in the form of a question that was asked to you as a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Should I be worried that my daughter has AIDS?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very interesting time for me, as a 17-year-old young man. I just literally found out overnight that I was a father. And my first interaction with her parents was, that question. And coming up in South Georgia, like I had already been exposed to that because that's just how it is. Like Georgia's historically a Confederate state, so we kind of dealt with that. And some people are more open with it than others, but being confronted like that was just, it made me take a step back, like, wow, like, is this really how we're being perceived right now? You know what I'm saying? So, and it really didn't dawn on me until years later after, you know, thinking about what I went through was just like, wow, like that was a very, you know, adverse time to have to deal with something like that, in addition to already struggling with like custody and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely wanted to share that because people are exposed to things like that, um, specifically where I'm from. And I
Hmm.
want, you know, just share some light on that as well, because that was one of the additional hurdles in my journey that I had to overcome. So yeah.
Yeah. So now as an adult, because it's, I don't know the time frame from when, you were first going through this to now, but looking back and knowing that you now have a son who is how old? Your oldest
He's
son?
16 now. He's 16.
Right. So he's right. He's almost at the same age that you were. So as a parent, now looking back and knowing that that's what you went through, what kind of advice would you, give to Amarius about, you know, confronting?
Honestly, I have a very open and candid relationship with him, and I share pretty much everything with him. Unless it's like something that I shouldn't be sharing with a child. Like I try to give him as much knowledge and information as I can. So I think our relationship is great. And the advice I give him is to, you know, like it can wait until he's an adult as far as like dating and stuff like that. Like I allow him to, you know, have relationships and stuff, but I don't give him as much freedom as I had when I was his age because I obviously know what comes of that. So I'm very cognizant of, you know, the activities he's involved in, the people he hangs out
Mhm.
with, the things he's interested in, the things he's exposed to as far as the internet and cell phones and everything like that. Like I'm very cognizant. And honestly, we had a conversation not too long ago about how, you know, he thinks that compared to other parents that I'm a little more strict. And, you know, we had a very long drawn out conversation about the why behind it and what's driving it. And it's essentially because I love him and I care about him and I want him to be successful. And I don't want, because everybody makes mistakes, but some mistakes you cannot recover from. And those mistakes I don't want him to make so early on in his life, like I did. So I try to give him as much knowledge and guidance as I can.
Yeah. So has he read Overnight Father?
So he has started it. He hasn't read it.
Okay.
So
Okay. I was
honestly,
curious.
I try to keep it out of his hands for a while, because you know it goes into depth about, you know, everything that happened, and
Right.
you know he's still pretty young, and I don't want to change his perception of, you know, his other family members that I
Hmm.
discussed in the book, things like
Hmm.
that. And I really feel like I didn't say anything bad about anybody. I just shared the facts, and
Hmm.
it's up to the reader to determine, you know, the facts and the type of people I dealt with. So,
Right.
but yeah,
Have
like
you?
recently I allowed him to start reading it, and he was just like, wow, like a lot of stuff I didn't know. So
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah.
Have you faced backlash from other sides of the family?
Yes, I have. So, unfortunately, I have, but you know that goes with the territory. You know, I'm sharing my truth, and my truth doesn't necessarily paint everybody in a good light. And you know, that's just the territory of writing a book, being an author.
Hmm.
And I wasn't aware of this before I wrote the book, but I tried to, you know, cushion the blow for some of those family members and reach out to them like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm writing about, this is how it involves you. How do you feel about it? And
Hmm.
initially I got a lot of support, but after the book came out, like some people didn't weren't so, you know, they weren't so accepting of it. You know what I'm saying? Um, which is okay because, like I said, I'm sharing my truth, and
Hmm.
I went great lengths to, you know, kind of spare some of the reputations of some of the actual characters I spoke about in the book, and I just hope that over time that they can see that you know actually the book is the actual PG-13 version of the true story. So
Right.
it's it's still really impactful and really uh controversial, even though it's also watered down, which is crazy about it to me. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's intense from the first chapter to the, I think 17th is how many there are in there, but it's just the way you put it together is very thoughtful, because you have a timeline that matches up with each chapter, that like whether it's a text or the letter that Mari wrote and showed
Yeah.
his teacher, and then his teacher shared it with you and bridged that gap that was missing and really changed the future. So do you keep in touch with any of his teachers that like helped?
Yes, absolutely. We have a great relationship. We still talk to each other to this day, and a lot of the characters that are actually in the book showed a lot of support, and they purchased the book, and actually are helping me promote it like organically,
Mm-hmm.
because the story was just so powerful. And I'm very appreciative for not only how they helped me throughout my journey, but the continued support that I'm getting now is just crazy to me. So I'm very thankful, and we do have a good relationship still to this day.
That's beautiful. That's so great, because that's also like setting the precedent and another example for not only Mari, but your other children, that like build these great relationships with teachers. Not every adult is scary. Like there are
Yeah,
some that are, there are
yeah,
some good ones out there. So that's really cool.
yeah.
Um, so where can people find your book?
So actually, my book is on Amazon right now, um, and I'm running a promotion this week. So until Father's Day, the ebook version of my book is available on Amazon for free right now. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to reach as many fathers as I can, and I feel like I'm providing some incentive for that. But it's also available on my website, nicholasjwedlow.com. If you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website, and I will autograph it and package it up and ship it off to you, kind of like how I did yours. Um, but yeah, it's also on Amazon. The paperback and the ebook is available right now, but the ebook is free until Father's Day.
That's amazing. So I do have to ask, is the J in your name, does that really stand for juice?
No, actually, my middle name is Gerard, so that's what the J stands for. But I don't know if you had a chance to read the more about the author section in the book, and it explains how
I
I got my
haven't got there.
coffee. Yeah, make sure you get there, because I put a little extra, incentive, if you will, some additional information about myself and how I got the call sign Juice, because it was applicable to the story. So I feel like people deserve to know why, people call me Juice.
Absolutely. I can't wait to, read that little section. I got through the book, but there's so much in it. And there's so much that I found myself, as I was reading it, I was flipping back to like, wait, let me go back to like, not that it, like everything was so fluid, but it's so intense that I wanted to make sure I had all the pieces of the puzzle, that like I kept like, and it's almost like you could follow it, like not a mystery, because it's not like a mystery story, but you're just waiting for the next thing to happen, because it's insane the amount of things that happened throughout this entire journey. And so everybody really needs to check out Overnight Father. Go to Amazon. It's free on ebook through Father's Day. And also you can go to nicholasjwedlow.com and also get an autographed copy there and get it sent right to you. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciated talking to you, and let's catch up again down the road and, see what else is going on in everyone in your family's life, because this is an ongoing story for you that
Yeah, the story is definitely not over yet. So there may be a sequel coming out soon. Who knows? Yeah.
absolutely. So thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate you being here. And again, everybody, how can they find you on Instagram? Because I know that you share a lot of your different content that way too.
Yes. So Instagram and Facebook is at Nicholas J. Wedlow. and that's where I'm at.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. So thanks again, Nick, and I will talk to you soon. Everybody order your copies, and then let's all discuss. If you see me posting about this book, because I was in the airport because I'm traveling, and I had people, probably because they haven't talked to people in a long time, and they're like, hey, what you reading? And
Yeah.
so then it's word of mouth, and it's just sharing the story, and that's really all it takes to make something so powerful as this as successful and as widespread as it should be. So just listen to this interview, share this interview, and listen to the book or read the book, share the story. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I will talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye-bye.
So much love in this.